So, hey, did you come from wealthy parents?
No, I grew up in Mexico. Mom was kidnapped when I was 14, lost my dad and mom when I was about 13, came here. I've only been in the States for about 6 years. So I learned the language here through Google Translate. I taught myself how to speak the language and then got on Cardinal University when I was about 17, 18. And then I just turned 21. So I've only been in the program for about 2 years so far.
The whole purpose of this show is to engage with business owners and be able to answer questions for people that will give them some insight and perspective on how to grow and scale a business. Not only leadership, but real life examples. This is the golden moment. I would do business with you right now.
Everybody, welcome to 10X Owners Live. We are in the lobby of our new facility in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we're so happy to get to share it with you guys. This is our first 10X Owners Live here in this building. In the building.
But who are we? When you say we are here, why do they even care who we are and what we're going to talk about? Brandon, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Brandon Dawson, CEO, co-founder of Cardinal Ventures. I almost forgot where I was at. I was gonna say of 10X, but
CEO
that's not
10X.
right.
No, not exactly. I am Natalie Dawson, our Executive Vice President of Operations at this fine organization called Cardinal Ventures.
And I am Buck Dawson, their youngest child.
I'm kidding.
I'm Buck Wise, Chief Marketing Officer.
Yes. So what a great night. We're excited to have everybody here. It's been a chaotic time. We had our first event here this weekend.
That's right.
It was amazing. And we delivered, 6, 7, or 8 platform reviews this weekend.
Yep.
And so it's always so good to see our clients crushing it. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we crush it personally, professionally, and financially? And we're going to give you the answers to that, because nothing massive, nothing huge was ever built by one person.
That's true. You used the example, Elon Musk could not get that rocket to go where it needs to go.
I doubt he knows how to build one of those.
Of course he doesn't. He doesn't need to know how.
You don't need to know how.
Honestly, that's the fallacy in leadership. And it's interesting that you say this, because I've been actually having some conversations with our team. Right now, we're going through this process called annual planning. If you do not do annual planning in your business, that is one critical way to get alignment and to get team members interested in what you're doing, because you know where you're going. But in this annual planning conversation, one of the biggest challenges for any team is, how do you take the thing that you do well for any of your team members, the reason that you were excellent, the reason that you were remarkable in your role, and be able to scale that to other people. You don't even have to be the business owner. We're not even talking about you. We're talking about making this process easy and teachable to your team members, so they learn how to do that, because that's the true scale in the business. And sometimes you might think, oh, I need to hold on to this thing that I'm so great at because I'm the only one who can do it. And in reality, the entire art of being able to scale and grow is actually developing the skill set to make somebody else great, and in many cases, hopefully better than you are at that thing. I like to think that I'm better than you are at certain things.
You are better than me at certain things. So, this just reminded me.
Is that just a little, you're just going to get, that was just a little bit? You weren't even.
I acknowledged you.
That was all, and we're just gonna keep.
You are better at certain things.
But everybody wants to know, like, what?
Yeah, that's true.
No, you want to know what.
Oh, I already know what.
So this reminds me of a coaching call I had today.
Yeah.
So this individual's like, I'm frustrated because Grant talks about, to get something new, you got to give something up.
Yeah.
And he says, the thing I'm so passionate about is the thing I have to give up. And I said, walk me through that process. So he started walking me through the process of why he has to give up what he does in the business. Mm-hmm. And after going through it, I said, okay, you're on the right track, but you're giving up the wrong thing. Mm. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, what else could you give up? And he went through all this stuff. And I want to talk to you guys about blind spots. So you don't know what you don't know. And our present level of awareness and thinking is based on our past experiences, mostly negative, and those projected onto us. So he was saying to me, I don't want to give up the very thing I love. I go, then why would you give it up? He goes, because you said that there's no scale in it. And it's what I love to do. I said, but you're giving up the wrong thing.
Was it a hobby?
No, it was his real business. But when he said, after making him try to go through, what do you need to give up? He's finally like, I don't know what the answer is. I go, it's so obvious, dude. It's so obvious. You can't even think about it.
What was it?
And he said, what do I need to give up? And I said, you need to give up doing the thing you love by yourself.
Oh,
Always do it with someone you're training. See, there's a rule, and that is once you perfect something, you're no longer allowed to do it by yourself because now you're wasting time. Leverage and scalability is in duplicating the things that you know work. And if you're doing it by yourself, you're not duplicating. If you bring somebody along with you and you're doing it with them until they can do it as well as you did it, then you can disengage. So today was the day of coaching calls, by the way, because we've been traveling so much. So then I was on with another one of my clients who said, we're going to have the biggest month in the history of the business. I'm talking like 600 grand or 700 grand.
wow.
I go, tell me why. And he said, because I did exactly what you said. I've worked with two people and now they're both doing the same amount of revenue that I was able to do. And then I have my revenue. So now all of a sudden it went from the power of one to the power of three.
Right.
Nothing great was ever done by any one individual. So just apply this rule. If you're trying to build something, or if you are building something and you're bogged down in your time and you know what you're doing works, apply the rule that you're no longer allowed to do any of those things if you're not training someone to do it.
I love that rule. I think that rule is fantastic. And as a leader, I think sometimes you can feel like, oh, you're just giving work to somebody else. Like you could do it. Does anybody else maybe experience that guilt as a leader of like, well, I could just do this myself. So why am I going to put this on someone else's plate? Anyone feel that? True. A couple people.
Miguel says true. He was just here.
It can be challenging to know what the right thing is to put on your team versus as a leader, what you are responsible for. But with this rule that Brandon's talking about, you are never going to build a team if you are not in the trenches with them, showing them how you do what you do so that you get out of that. And it's their opportunity. This is what Brandon does that I think differentiates somebody feeling guilt versus somebody feeling like they're empowering their team, which is you are providing the greatest opportunity for somebody by being able to give them the time, the proximity to show them what makes you so great. That is an opportunity. That is not somebody who's like tied or chained to the business and you are just having them do these tasks. No, it is, if you are doing something great, which all of you wouldn't be on a 10X Owners live call on a Tuesday at 5:09 Pacific time, if you weren't committed to doing something great. Knowing that you have the opportunity, you have the commitment, and you really have the responsibility to be able to teach other people how you are doing that so you can continue to go build a great business. And you're never going to be able to do that. Never even going to be able to do that with your own team. If you're a leader, I know we have some business owners and some leaders on this call. You're never gonna be able to do that with your own team if you don't figure out how you can take people alongside you and actually train them and show them what you do every day that makes you great as a leader.
Let me take on the role of the average business owner. And let's role play this for a second.
Sure.
So Brandon, I hear you telling me that I need to give up the one thing that I'm good at and I need to be able to duplicate myself. But I can't find that person, the great hire, in order for me to duplicate myself. I don't trust anyone to do it as great as me. And even if I did, I can't find the right person who's willing to go all in and dedicate as much as I am. Is that something you hear?
Yeah, so they say it, but the fact is they're not actually, A, they're not trying it. And B, you just said, I'm telling you to give up the very thing you love. And I didn't say that. I said, you're just not allowed to do that unless you're training somebody. So imagine hiring somebody, just throwing them at the problem and hoping they figure it out. And then they struggle and stumble around. And then you're frustrated as a business owner and you create this belief, I can never hire good people. Now, contrast that to actually having the excitement of taking people who raise their hand to say, I want to do great things. And you're like, I'm not going to disengage from you until you can do exactly what I do. And this is how you win by learning to do it. And then you train them. And then all of a sudden, it's like when your kids become teenagers or they become adults and they start winning. You're just so proud of your employees for grinding through and figuring it out. But they're so loyal and proud because you taught them how to do it. So that is the exchange to scaling. So what I'd say to you as a business owner is, when is really the last time you interviewed somebody and said, what's the most amount of money you've ever made in your life? If I can show you how to make more than you've ever made, and I'm willing and committed to making sure that you don't fail, you don't look foolish, you don't slip, you don't fall. I'm going to work side by side with you until you're able to do it to the point where you can make the kind of money you could have only dreamed of making. Would you be committed to doing it exactly like I showed you? When's the last time as a business owner you said that in an interview and asked that question?
I'd like to see that answer. How many of you have asked that very question in your interview process? How many of you asked that question in the chat? Let's use the chat tonight.
Yeah, and while they're putting, there's a note there saying you trained somebody for 2 months and then you found out it wasn't worth your time.
What a heartbreaker when that happens.
It is, but that's why you're not allowed to train one person. The rule of 3 says, and you know what, this doctor that I was talking to today, and he's like, they're crushing it. I said, well, what was the thing that stimulated to bring in the third person and start working with them? He said, when I hired the first one and started working with them, they started doing so well, my confidence went up. So I immediately grabbed another person and started. What that gives you is context and contrast. When you're training 2 different people, you don't know if it's going to work or not, because you're an amateur at training people. You're also an amateur at hiring people. So until you find somebody that sticks, you don't have the reference point of what success looks like. But once something sticks, you then can do that with other people. But if you're doing it one at a time and it fails, you never know, is it me or is it them, or do I not know how to hire, or can they not figure it out, or is it too complex? So I always say, build your business up big enough. And Leah asked, do you hold off on doing the rule of 3 until you're doing $250,000 of revenue by yourself? The answer is yes, because if you never learn how to make money, you can't show somebody how to make money. So if I'm sitting there saying, Buck, what's the most amount of money you've ever made? And you say $100,000, and I'm not making $100,000, I will not recruit you, because law of the lid says you cannot attract into your influence somebody that's at a higher level than you. So automatically, algorithmically, you cannot magnetize somebody to you if they're doing better than you're doing, right? Which requires you to become an expert at what you're doing. But once you get good at that, now you have the confidence that you're an expert because the results prove it. And at $250 or more revenue per employee, you're making money, which allows you to invest in 2 people versus 1 and then burning yourself out.
I'd love to talk about how we've done this at Cardinal Ventures. And I have a pretty specific example around, I'd never recruited a single person ever, not once before Cardinal Ventures. I'm not formally trained in recruitment. I am not an HR specialist. That's not what I went to school for.
You recruited me.
Besides Brandon.
Heyo.
But the business needed somebody to recruit for it. And at the time, we were not willing to invest in a recruiter.
It was me and you and Brandon in the trenches.
Yeah.
We were on every interview.
But so when it came to that, I'm like, okay, if Buck is going to be responsible for marketing and Brandon is going to be responsible for driving the vision, he's driving the sales, he's driving everything that you drive as the chief executive officer. I was like, I'm going to take on this recruitment thing. So I read some online articles, I watched some videos, I figured out how to use Indeed, and I
remember that research. You were like, Indeed versus LinkedIn, like which one should we use?
What do we use? And so I just like figured it out. And like many of you, you just in business, you have to figure it out. And I think it's good for us to be transparent about some of the things that we don't know how to do, and you figure out how to do it, because it's not like any of us went to business school and just figured this out, or somebody gave us this course for how to perfectly do these things. And so when I was working through this process, I was like, I'm committed to doing the interviews, every single interview, doing all of this, the sourcing, my version of sourcing for the first 50 Cardinal Ventures team members. But after the 50 point, our business will be big enough for me no longer to do this. But that gave me the target. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be recruiting forever. And oh, I'm going to be doing interviews for days and days and days for years and years on end. It was a very specific target. So when you're thinking about duplicating, what is the specific target that once you've hit this point, you are no longer doing that task any longer? But I knew around the 25 employee mark, I was halfway to my target. Once we got there, it's like, okay, great. I have to start documenting all these processes. I have to start creating templates because I was thinking I'm going to hire somebody. The amazing Gabrielle is who we ended up hiring. She does such a better job than I did at the time. But when she came on board, I knew that I was setting her up for success, but it wasn't just in the process documentation. It was also she watched me interview. And obviously I interviewed her, but she got to experience all of this for the first month of her onboarding. So it wasn't just me sending her off to her candidates and seeing if she sank or swam based on whatever skill set she brought to it. So when you're thinking about these primary roles that you are spending time in, how are you first identifying the target, but then secondarily figuring out how are you going to process document and then show the person, actually like be there with them while they're doing it so that you don't allow them to fail. I love it when you talk about not allowing people to fail, because that's the worst part, when one of your team members fails because you didn't set them up for success. Ideally, the process is set up so you can jump in if they're struggling, but you have enough feedback in those moments to know when that moment is. And if they're able to struggle and work through it, then that is ultimately what leadership really is. Somebody's struggling, but they figured it out, and then they're able to take on those roles, and you're able to go do something else because you duplicated.
Very well said. A lot of stuff said. Very well said.
I have an important question, a very important question. Are you ready for this?
What is your question, Buck?
Imagine all the time, effort, and energy, all the research to find the perfect hire. If we took the notes from years of experience of Brandon, from Natalie's background and experience, what would you be willing to do to access this information? How many of you were, show of hands, we can see each and every one of you, show of hands, how many of you would want access to find the perfect hire? Lots of interest. Put in the chat 10x if you would like access to the notes on how to find the perfect hire.
Yeah.
Well, good news for you.
Good
We
news.
actually have that. We do. We have the perfect hire. In fact, we have a whole training program we've put together that Natalie, Brandon, and Grant are going to be offering. And in fact, you can scan this QR code. We're going to put it up for you right now. This QR code is going to get you the perfect hire training. Exactly all the questions you're thinking about right now, it's going to be laid out in a step-by-step process of how to attract that perfect talent, that person that you need in order to duplicate yourself. So take your phone, open the camera, scan this QR code. You'll also see it in the link. We're going to put some links down there. The URL is going to be in the chat. So if you don't have your phone or if you're driving, go to the chat and you can click right there on it. This is coming up very soon, and there's limited space for you to join. So if you want to be a part of the perfect hire training, tonight is the night that you need to commit, dedicate yourself, and get all the information you need so you can set yourself and your business up for success.
100%. And then after that program, and you go through that whole program, you can do Natalie's program, How to Attract the Perfect Husband. So after you learn how to hire the perfect person, then you can do How to Attract the Perfect
You know what's
Husband.
funny? I think my wife, Allie, took that course from Natalie. She really did.
She wrote it.
I know Mike Carberry did. He took that course too, because
true.
he got attracted by the perfect partner.
That's
All right. So listen, guys, we're very, very excited about this program because remember, 31.5 million small to mid-sized businesses. Let's go back to the data. 31.5 million small to mid-sized businesses, 25 million have a single employee. They can't even figure out how to go beyond themselves, let alone hiring one person. But here's the thing. 2/3 of the 31.5 million businesses fail every 5 years. And the chief second complaint is they couldn't hire good people. So I'm going to tell you a little secret. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but bad business owners will never attract great people.
Why is that?
Well, who's going to go to work? Law of the land. Who's going to work for somebody that doesn't know how to succeed themselves? Who's going to go to work for somebody that doesn't know how to show them how to succeed? And you may hire someone that is a great person, and then anybody put yes. If you've ever hired anybody you were so excited about, and then they blew out on you, they left. Put yes if you've ever hired anybody that you were so excited about and they left. Let's be honest here. Yeah. And you know why? Because they lost confidence working for you. They were actually going to be able to accomplish their goals in your business. So now you got to be like, I thought I hired this really good person who's going to crush it. And we have that happen. I mean, it's not always the reasons people leave, but people generally aren't going to leave an environment where they feel they can succeed. So if you're losing good people that you've hired and you don't know why, I can tell you that probably 90% certainty the why is because they did not see their success inside of your organization, which fits the statistics of why businesses fail and why they stay small.
So when we talk about finding the perfect hire, if a business owner doesn't have those attributes that they need to attract what they want, what's their first step? What do they need to do in order to make sure that they're finding the right talent within the right scope that aligns with where the business is at in a break?
It's a great question. And the first thing they need to do is shoot that QR code.
That's it. That's it. It is a free training.
It ain't one thing. It ain't one thing. But it is being crystal clear about what the result of the hire, the target is.
Yeah.
If I'm hiring people and I'm not clear about what my target is for hiring them, I can't be clear with them about how to contribute. That becomes a massive problem. In fact, where there's confusion, there's
failure.
So when you fail with key employees, it's because there's confusion. We just had our second annual planning meeting as an organization yesterday. Natalie ran that program. How many people were on the executive team for annual planning yesterday?
What was that, 7?
No.
The whole leadership.
The whole leadership group. There was
The leadership team is 12.
12 people on our leadership team. We're at how many employees right now?
77.
77 employees at Cardone Ventures, 2-year-old company. And if you engage our Cardone Ventures team members, I've yet had somebody be like, how do I hire those people?
Right.
Well, to hire 77, we had to go through 150 that we extended offers to, and we probably got rid of 30 or 40 that came in and fooled us. But here's the thing, your culture will push those people out. So don't ever be afraid to be transparent. This is why we talk about transparency. Don't be afraid to hold people accountable. Don't be afraid to have discipline. Don't be afraid to drive to results. But you got to align your people and you have to inspire them. And if you can't do those things, then you're probably going to lose good people.
Love it. Well, we've got a lot of questions. You want to jump right
Yeah,
to it?
let's do it.
So if you have never asked a question on 10X Owners Live, tonight is your night. I want you to hit that reactions button at the bottom of the screen and raise your hand. Imagine the amount of value that you're going to get when you ask the question that directly applies to the struggle you're having in your business right now. So click on reactions and then raise hand. That's the whole point in doing this engagement every Tuesday. Otherwise, this could be a pre-recorded YouTube that you're watching, but we don't want that. We want to be able to engage with you for a long amount of periods here. So let's go to Michael Healy first. And if you've never asked a question on Owners Live, I want you to make the effort, make the commitment to yourself tonight that you're going to speak up. You're going to become a little bit vulnerable because we're all working towards the same thing. And you're going to ask your question. Hey, Michael, how are you, man?
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm great. Thanks for always coming out every Tuesday night and sharing the knowledge.
Absolutely. What's the question?
All right, so my name is Michael. Obviously, you know that. I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada. My wife and I are starting to take over the family insurance brokerage. And my question is, we're sitting at around about 80,000 right now in revenue per employee, and we're struggling to hire. We've been working on our culture. I've gone to the 10X Accelerator program. We're doing morning meetings, talking about wins, doing all the right things, but still struggling with those hiring platforms and getting the right people to come in even for the interview. So I was wondering if you guys had any insight on, should we be focusing on social platforms like LinkedIn, or should we be doing more focus on Indeed, which is what we have been using, and maybe we're just not using it correctly or to the best of our abilities?
I think, how many employees do you have?
Including ourselves, it's 5.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be interviewing for anybody. I would be driving my 5 team members to drive the business to $1,250,000 to $1.5 million. And I would put all my energy on taking the 5 people I do have, and I would be working with them in order to create a business, because I'm going to just tell everybody listening here, at $80,000 of revenue per head, nobody can make any money working for you. So you're never going to hire people that can push your business, because you're hiring 30, 40, 50,000, $60,000 employees. And they're going to do what you, those are literally entry level positions, or people aspiring to kind of go to the next level that don't know what they're doing. So what you need is a business that shows somebody that wants to drive to making 150 grand how to succeed working for you. And until you're able to figure out how to do that, you can't show somebody how to do it. So you're hiring people that are like, yeah, I want to make a lot of money, but you're hiring them at 50 or 60 grand. And that means you're hiring, if you go through the lids, there's nothing wrong with somebody at 50 or 60, but if you can't teach them how to make 100, they won't stay with you. So your biggest problem, so if you understand that you will attract into you, output amplifies input. So you'll get more high performing people when you have high performing people. When you have low performing people, or you're a low performing person, not because you are a low performer, but because you're trying to figure it out. So you're stuck in the trying to figure it out, trying to grow the business, and you think throwing people at it's going to do that. When the reality is, in your insurance business, if you're doing $500,000 a year, you by yourself as the lead sales insurance representative should be able to drive that business with 4 people working around you to $1.5 million. Are you doing property, casualty, and life and all that? What are you doing? What kind of insurance?
We're mostly focused on property casualty right now. I'm in the process of getting my life insurance license right now. Tom's the only one licensed currently.
So
in life.
I just want to know, is there anybody in the P&C space in insurance? I wish Sean was going to be here. Sean runs as a third, the number 3 guy, insurance brokerage that has a $6.3 billion market value. I'm having a meeting with him after this event. They have thousands and thousands of clients that are in the property casualty space. And so who said they are? Anybody in here? Jake. So Jake, just put in there your revenue per employee for your,
166.
yeah. So look at his revenue per employee is twice your revenue per employee. So there's a Jake, yeah, 166. So Jake, you guys should connect, and then you should, Ryan's at 92. Bring Ryan on. See how much we'll bring Jake on. Jake's the high performer.
Jake and Ryan, unmute Jake and Ryan. Let's get a whole group.
Oh, let's get a group chat. Can we do that?
Yeah, we can unmute everyone. Come on, let's have an insurance party.
Let's do it.
What's up, Jake? What's up, Ryan? How are you?
Hey guys.
Going on. I'm not in insurance, but
Okay, you're just getting revenue per head.
Revenue per head. All right, you threw us a curveball. Turn Ryan on. All right, so Jake, you there? Jake?
I'm here.
See
Yep.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah.
So you're running twice the revenue per head than Michael.
Right. About one, I just did the math. I had never figured it out, but I just did the math revenue for employees.
Yeah, so where are you located geographically?
Upstate New York.
Michael, where are you? You're in
I'm
Vegas?
in Las Vegas, Nevada. So here's another question. When we do that per employee, am I including myself, my wife, and Tom, which is the owner that's phasing out in March next year?
If they're working, yeah, if they're working in the business, you do.
So all 5 of us right now, yeah, we work in the business. Tom kind of works in the business, but so would we consider it four of us in that breakdown then, or still include Tom as one of the?
Well, how many of you are drawing a salary or a paycheck?
All of us, including Tom, I believe.
Okay, so 5 people.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I was breaking it down right.
Yeah. So now this is the difference between context and contrast. Now imagine if this whole board on here, 356 participants, Imagine if all of you were in the same space and you all started putting your numbers. Here, Cynthia says $1 million in premium a year. So imagine if you were sitting on this and there was 356 independent property casualty insurance agencies right here. You would have people that are doing 300,000 in revenue per head, 200,000 in revenue per head, 100,000 in revenue per head. And that's where you learn context from contrast. So while you're trying to figure out how to get good employees, I would tell you need to put your focus on doing more production. And then you'll hire higher caliber people. Jake, what's the most amount of money someone working for you can make right now?
My highest paid employees, about 65,000.
65. And what's your highest paid, Michael?
She's sitting right here.
So 82,000.
Is that 80? Okay. And are you a producer?
I am.
And so, Michael, how much production does your highest producer produce?
I mean,
Or
right
Jake,
now,
sorry, Jake. Yeah, I meant Jake. Sorry.
Actually, I'm lacking a producer right now, so it's really just me.
Okay, and what are you
My
producing?
employees are service oriented at the moment.
What are you producing a year by yourself?
New business wise, is that the question? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, yeah. Where your revenues?
New revenue to the new revenue.
Yeah.
I'm measuring growth. I'm on a growth scale of about 10%.
Okay, but how much
On
production?
$1 million of revenue, so that's 100,000 of growth. But that's not taken into
Okay, so you're doing $1 million of production right now.
Correct.
is that written premium?
No, that's
just
revenue. No, 5 million in rent premium.
Yeah, that's commissions. So, Michael, what are you putting on the books?
We're sitting right under 4 right now.
Okay, so do you understand, Jake? How many employees do you have?
I have 6 employees.
Okay, Michael, he's got one more employee than you. See the context and contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And if Sean happened to be here, he would tell you out of 12,900 property casualty guys, he would be able to quote to you the high, the median, and the low of production per year by producer. And those are the kind of things that you need to like figure out how to get in the top 10% of that, so that you can then recruit people and say, I can show you how to make 100 or 200 grand a year. I guarantee you, both of you, if you wanted to recruit a remarkable team, and you were able to show people how to make $250,000 a year, you would recruit people that would want to make $250,000 a year and blow your business up. So your ability to show people how to succeed is how you attract great people. And you don't need, I'm just going to tell you, a business of your size. Buck, did we run an ad to find you?
No,
You found us.
I found you.
So
Instagram.
So in your micro communities, you don't need to post job positions to find remarkable employees. You just got to pay attention. Is our guy Aaron on here?
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah,
there.
he's
See
on.
him.
Aaron.
Let's bring Aaron on to I want to bring Aaron on. There he is. Bring Aaron. Aaron, are you there, buddy? Aaron?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, so listen, I was sitting there one night at 1 a.m. on Clubhouse, listening to the Cardone guys. They threw out this, role play room, and it was like challenge us. And I was just listening to it, and I was kind of half going to sleep. And all of a sudden, I hear this dude going at him, boom, 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 and I was like, whoa. So I text one of the guys. I'm like, ask him where he learned to do this. And he's like, I bought an individual license. How long had you been training yourself on Cardone?
Yeah, so I was selling automobiles for about 2 years. Had the individual account, having massive success with it. And obviously that's how I found them through Clubhouse.
So, hey, did you come from wealthy parents?
No, grew up in Mexico. Mom was kidnapped when I was 14, lost my dad and mom when I was about 13, came here. I've only been in the States for about 6 years. So I learned the language here through Google Translate. I taught myself how to speak the language and then got on Cardinal University when I was about 17, 18. And then I just turned 21. So I've only been in the program for about 2 years so far.
And how long? And so I listened to him and I came online and I said, hey, Aaron, you don't know me, but you're going to meet me. And I said, let's talk about you coming to work for me. And you were like, dude, this is a dream job. You dropped everything. You packed your stuff up and you lived on the floor of a house for a month, moving to Vancouver, Washington. How long have you been working with me, buddy?
I've been here for 6 months now. 6 months.
Okay. And how much are you going to make in your first year working here?
I just texted Josh right now. I told him that I was able to bank a 50K so far. So this year.
So how much are you going to make for the year?
I'm shooting for 200 this year, 200, 250.
Okay. What amazing thing did you just get to do in the last month?
I bought my grandma a vehicle back in Mexico. So I was able to, purchase her a vehicle, able to retire her, send her monthly distribution where she's able to pay for her living expenses. And it's a really meaningful moment for myself, which tied into my PPF conversation when I joined the organization.
That was his PPF.
Can we put a 10X in the chat for Aaron?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What a great story.
So, hey, Aaron, did you reply to our ad that we had posted for employment, or did you put yourself out there and I found you?
No, I didn't even know who you were when I met you in Clubhouse. So it literally just came where I failed an exam that day. I was having a horrible day. I jumped on Clubhouse. My buddy was, hey, you should go on here. I knew all the Grant Cardone guys already. So I jumped on there, did the role play. And that's who you came across. So I've always been a guy that wanted a big opportunity. I got capped out, but you always are looking for remarkable people. So it was just that perfect correlation when we met.
Hey, Aaron, before you met us and started working with us, what was the most amount of money in any given year you had made?
I was making like 65,000 second year in college. 65. That was the most money I've ever made in a year.
All right. So I just want to be clear, everybody. You want to know how you find remarkable people? You show them how to succeed. Like all of you thinking you're going to go out and you're going to just like find somebody to solve your problems. It ain't going to happen. The reason Aaron was attracted is because when he came and met with us, I promised him I would help him accomplish his personal, professional, and financial goals if he did everything I needed him to do without question, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, and it fits into his goals. Would he be willing to go all in? And he said, I will go all in. I'll move up there immediately. I'll do whatever you need me to do. And here you have a guy who's going to make a couple $100,000 in his first year working with us, bought his grandma a car, sends her money to provide a life for her. And I would say, I would speak for you, but I'll ask you, if you go backwards 9 months ago, would you have ever envisioned your life being where it is right now?
No, definitely not. It was, I went from my college dorm lifestyle, hanging out and really just living the college lifestyle to a really professional career and something that I can see myself growing and developing, to achieve every single net worth number that I've ever dreamed of. Really
proud of you, buddy.
Thank you, Brandon. Hey,
really
and
proud
also,
of you. So,
guys, my success, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Brandon. You can when I share my success with other salespeople here in the organization, it just inspires them as well.
If we're going to interview people, the best people we can interview for sales are people that Aaron meets on the street and tells a story to, and then invites them to come talk to us. You want to know how you hire remarkable people, especially when you are only 4 or 5 deep? You don't do it by posting ads. You do it by going out and seeing people in their natural state and finding people who want to win, people who want to succeed, people who want to do something greater in their life. And you invite them to the conversation by asking the question, if I can show you how to succeed, would you do whatever it takes to have that success? And if they pause for a moment, move on. I recruited Mason, my president of Audigy, who made $10 million when we sold it. He was selling cars part-time, putting himself through college on a political scholarship. And I said to him, what's your number one goal? And he said to me, one day running the Ferrari dealership. And I said, oh, that's disappointing. And he said, what do you mean it's disappointing? I said, I was hoping your number one goal was one day owning the Ferrari dealership. He said, honestly, dude, I come from no money. My family is poor. It's a little insulting that you would just throw that out there. And I said, that's even worse. I meet a lot of people. I'm so like enamored with you. You're a great dude. You got great communication skills. You're fun to be around. Why are you setting your limitations? Let me ask you a question. If somebody could show you how to one day own a Ferrari dealership, would you do whatever it takes? He said, absolutely. I hired him out of college. He started making within 4 or 5 years. He was making $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year. We sold the business and he put $10.8 million in the bank. Now, let me tell you something. That's how you recruit people. You have your team members that you recruit, that you set up for success, go tell everybody what's happening, and then they bring them to you. So at 5 people or 10 people deep, you don't need postings. You need to connect. You need to communicate. You need to promote. See, that's a promote. Everything that just happened right here, by the way, is a promote. I promoted Aaron. Aaron's going to be pumped up after this call. He got recognition. I promoted Aaron's accomplishment. So everyone that works for us and that's watching this call is going to be like, hell, how do I do that? So I promoted to you, it's possible. I promoted Cardone Ventures' ability to help people succeed personally, professionally, financially. I promoted our commitment to you by bringing in people and teaching them how to succeed so you could do the same thing. All that is promotion. And if you want to recruit great people, be an expert at the first P. Right, Puckaroo?
That's right. That's it. I want to remind you, because I've seen a lot of the chat, you want that QR code back. So Bryce, could you put the QR code back for this awesome new program, The Perfect Hire? If you want to be a part of the Perfect Hire training, find those golden nuggets, develop those golden nuggets in your organization. The Perfect Hire training is where you need to start. It's the very first point where you need to begin your journey. If you've never, ever once connected with Cardone Ventures or any of our programs, guaranteed this is going to be one of the best.
You know why? Because this embodies all that we've done to build companies and stuff, but most importantly, this embodies all the work that somebody's been working on for us to build a remarkable organization fast.
That's true.
Takes a team, guys. Takes a team that knows what their roles are and knows how to establish what the targets are, where you're going. You need marketing, you need finance, you need operations, you need a vision, you need somebody who's gonna put their foot up everyone's asses in order to make sure that all of it gets done. That is Brandon's primary role in this
His foot stays in
organization.
my ass. It never comes out.
Yeah, it's just, but that's part of growing a business and creating something that truly is remarkable and great. And I feel like my entire career codifying how to make this happen for business owners and testing it through this awesome business called Cardone Ventures. And it's pretty remarkable the results that our clients have when they actually put this promotion and they put personal, professional, financial goals and all of this alignment into play, because it creates stories like that. And you can't make up stories like Aaron. I mean, everybody in the chat saying they have goosebumps. How do you create that for yourselves? Because it's not just because we're unique. It's not just because we're special. Brandon has a remarkable way of communicating. However, it's his commitment to the promote. And how many of you guys are on Clubhouse talking about the business opportunities? Or how many of you guys are really out there figuring out, how do I get the most remarkable team so that that team can help me, instead of just getting so stuck? And I'm with you. Like, I get and understand why people get stuck in the day-to-day. But how do you make this the forefront so that you don't find yourself as a statistic like Brandon was talking about earlier, where you have one team member and you're frustrated and you're irritated and you don't have people who are by your side backing you, pushing you, helping you get to where you want to go.
And you know, the real test of all this isn't if you do something once. So bring Enrique up.
Yeah, Enrique.
Bring Enrique up. I want you guys, if you don't most of you probably know Enrique. You can't help but know Enrique.
He kicked off the call today.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Enrique, are you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
So Enrique, you come from uber wealthy parents that gave everything to you?
They gave me a lot of love growing up, Brandon. They did.
There you go. So that's the wealth that you got. Now, what did you have to do? You had loving parents. What did you have to do for yourself?
I got out of the military in 2019 in December with $600 to my name. I started working for Grant, and then COVID hit and I got let go because I was on day 87 out of 90. So anybody under 90 days was let go at that time. And that was just a choice Grant made. And I highly respect the man. And obviously I love him to death. And he's my superior mentor, just like you, Brandon. And then I believe it was April 19th was when Buck Wise reached out to me. I had a quick phone interview with him. And then by April 23rd, I was working with the team. So from April.
And by the way, I just want to point out to somebody, the reason that you had that call with Buck Wise is because I got a phone call from Grant Cardone, right? That's right. That said, there's this kid, I love him. We set this rule. I can't violate my own rules, but I want you to talk to this kid. And so we reached out to Enrique. So making yourself, even at 80 some odd days, making an impression is always critically important.
Yeah. And when you guys called, I didn't know if I was going to be able to like pay my rent or anything the next month. I didn't know what next month looked like. I mean, a lot of you guys in business, you guys didn't know what next month looked like for your business. So sometimes, I think that there's some higher power out there that connected me with you guys. And I have this picture of Brandon. It's Brandon and my dad. And I always say, my dad's the poor dad, Brandon's rich dad. Not poor as in, he financially, yes, different. But my dad taught me hard work and Brandon taught me smart work. And in 2020, I finished out the year with $210,000. And I was able to do some personal things for my mom, for her finances, help out my sisters. I got all of them Christmas presents, and pretty much my entire life, I was never able to buy Christmas presents for anybody. This is difficult. I never really talk about this. So then this year has actually been one of the highest and lowest years of my life. I've lost a lot of friends, and I've also gained a lot of knowledge. And I've been able to double my income. And I realized at the end of the day, I can make all the money in the world that I want, but I love being on this team. I love having the moments inside of the rooms with everybody on this call. I love hearing your stories. I love seeing you guys succeed. And I know I'm a salesperson, and I know sometimes at the end of the day, you guys think, oh, he's just calling me to get my money. And absolutely I am, because I know when you give us money, you'll get 10x return, 100%. Every single time I call you guys, I want you to give us your money so you can get 10x back. And I firmly believe in it. And I can say that for myself, because 8 years ago or 9 years ago, when I followed Grant, I gave him every single dollar I had for his $100 programs that I could barely afford. And now looking back, those 8 years ago, those small investments turned into the success that I have now. And like I said before in the pre-show, guys, nobody can buy me out of this team. I don't care if you offer me $10, $20 million a year. I'm here because I'm
Enrique, what let me ask you this way. Of everyone in your family, do you think that this year you'll earn more money than anybody in your family's ever earned in a year?
Probably with my entire immediate family combined, yes. And also extended into other portions of my family. And, a lot of them know that. And I do support them financially in a lot of ways. But the biggest thing that really came from this, Brandon, is it was like 6 or 7 months ago, right before GrowthCon, my dad hopped on this owner's live call. And because of you, he came out to GrowthCon. I had to hard close him. He came out to GrowthCon, and he decided he doesn't want to be an employee anymore. And he's on his own journey to learn how to take his skills of, budgeting projects and real estate development to starting his own real estate and commercial real estate, a residential and commercial fixing and flip company, basically. So
because you gave him confidence.
You gave him the belief that something could be different. And same thing with Natalie, and same thing with Buck and Josh and Ashley and Aaron and everybody on this team. I think that's the biggest thing. You always talk about belief lids, but You give people the belief that they can believe in themselves.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
So
Listen, you guys, hey, Enrique, how old are you?
I'm 25.
So I can you imagine?
Why are you laughing?
Why are you
Enrique?
laughing? Why is 25 funny? That's impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so here's, everyone's on here. You want to know how to find remarkable people. You find people who are inspired or motivated to do great, or are motivated to do great things, and then you inspire them to become remarkable by making their success easy.
There's nothing more frustrating to me than talking to business owners who say, oh, this millennial generation, they're so non-committal. I can't get them to work very hard. They just come in and they're lazy and they quit. And I just think over and over and over again about these team members that don't have any formal business experience, and yet you put them up against any sales team or any leadership team, and they are confident and they are able to speak intelligently and they are able to create their dreams. They're able to move like what they want in life into reality. And 99% of the population has no idea how to do that. How do you make that possible and real for your team members? Many of you are on here to make that real for yourself, but how do you pivot that to figure out, how do I create this for my team? Because in that pivot, in you forgetting, oh, I need to figure this out for myself, and you turning to, man, the real magic is in other people. It's where all the gold is, and it does not matter how old people are. In fact, most of our best employees, two people you just heard from, are young, are in the millennial generation, because they're willing to do whatever it takes and go after a big opportunity.
And I will just be honest with you, the reason I've been so successful is because I recognize that my success will be in how many of those people I can attract, challenge. That's why I say I'm not a boss, I'm a coach. I want to find people that want to win. Is that Sean? No? Yeah. Oh, awesome. If he's here, bring him over. So I want to find people that want to win. And then I want to show them how to succeed easy, because I know that with Aaron and Enrique, they're going to bring another 50 people into our ecosystem that when they tell me it's hard, I can't do it, I'm going to go talk to those guys. Don't even start that with me. And I think what you need in your organization is you need to create some of those people. It's called priming. You have to prime by figuring it out yourself. It is the hardest equation to building a business, is figuring it out. But once you figure it out, that is not where to stop. That moves from me leadership to now bringing others in and promising you're going to develop and work with them so they can succeed. And that converts with John Maxwell, law of big momentum. Okay. It converts your me leadership, the ability to push yourself, to we leadership, the ability to push others. But you don't push them by shoving on them. You push them by drawing them to something they want to succeed at. But if it's all about you, you won't accumulate those people, and then everything's going to be hard.
Hey, did I hear you were going to put a guarantee on this training?
This is 100% money back guarantee that if you come to this training and you don't hire the perfect person in 2022,
yeah,
you're going to get all your money back.
Wow. Money back guarantee, hire the perfect person in 2022.
100%.
That's the target. The perfect hire training, scan it if you haven't scanned it. I don't know what you're waiting for. I want you to scan this and be a part of the perfect hire training. You've literally got less than 2 weeks before that goes down. You want to bring Sean on for a second?
Is he here?
Yeah, he's right here.
Sean,
come jump on. We're gonna. You knew you were gonna get thrown in. No,
come on.
no,
Whoops, sorry, babe.
No, you're good.
Come on, buddy. Come up here, Sean Conrad. Get up
There he
here.
is.
How are you
How you
guys?
doing, brother?
I'm
Good to
great.
see
How are
you.
you?
We got a special guest in the
What's going
house.
on?
Come on. So you know what's funny, Sean? So we have two guys in the property casualty insurance space.
Yeah.
So one guy's like, I need to hire more people. This is Sean Conrad. So,
How you doing, guys?
so I need to hire more people, and the average revenue per producer or per employee is 80,000. Then there's another guy, 6 employees, average production is 160,000. I said, if there's a guy that understands property casualty space, because context and contrast is important. So how many property casualty clients
That's
do
hard.
you have that you guys work with?
Producers or clients?
Businesses. like individual businesses?
Total business is 50,000.
50,000 property casualty. This is a wealth of information. In fact, you guys should be hitting your credit card right now, $1,000 for any question you're gonna ask.
That's
So-
his rate.
So that's
$1,000.
no, I get half. Okay, so don't overpay him. So here's the thing. If I own a property casualty business and I have 5 employees, what would be, if I was in the upper 10% of businesses producing, how much revenue would I be making?
You have to look, I think, first at your average revenue per client. Where I see a lot of independent agencies and brokers get stuck is they have a large number of clients. You really look at it, your average revenue per client can be deceiving. So look at your book of business, go through, pick out your top 10% by revenue. I think you'll be surprised. You realize, wow, I may be heavily concentrated in one account. Maybe you've got an account where you're heavy on one line of coverage. You haven't rounded the rest of it out yet, and you're at risk. And you also haven't maximized the upside opportunity. So look at your block of business, look at what the composition of that is. And I would encourage everybody kind of move upstream as you can. Now it's going to be dependent upon your resources within your firm, but take a look at where that revenue is being derived from. Do you have upsell, cross-sell opportunities in the firm? Do you have property casualty today? Can you add employee benefits? If so, you should do that. Partner with somebody if you don't have that resource. Secondarily, look at the average revenue per account, and then dig deep into the relationship base where your buyers are. I'm seeing more movement now of buyers inside those businesses you're working with today than ever before. And you're doing a great
So
job.
this is a dissertation, by the way, Michael, on how to blow your business up that he just rattled off in 1 minute. But here's the question. If Michael's doing $500,000 of revenue in his agency with 5 employees,
Yeah.
and he's basically doing the same kind of work that somebody else is doing $1 million with 6 employees, what would be like what I'm trying to give him is like
Average revenue per head count?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can get that closer to 200,000 plus revenue per employee in that agency, you're going to be doing really well.
And do you have clients that are doing that?
We do.
Yeah, see, 200,000 is not an unreasonable target. And
It's
what do
not.
you think the outliers would be that are really pushing the?
If you look at a really efficient team, even within a large agency like ours, you could be pushing $500,000 per employee.
So you guys know, for anybody that's listened to my talk, 85,000 or less doesn't make any money. 250,000, you make 15 to 20%. 500,000, you make 35 to 40%. He just walked in. He doesn't even know what the hell we're talking about. And he just told you those are the same numbers. As a property casualty business owner, you should be thinking about those numbers, and people are doing it. And you know how they're doing it. The minute that he spoke, the 1 minute he spoke, look, what's his name? So
Michael.
excited over there. He's flipping his head upside down.
Nice.
So the 1 minute he spoke is exactly how you do it, by the way. You guys probably missed everything he said, but what he said is a lifetime worth of how to build a massive agency.
And this applies across every business, which is why I love working with you, Brandon and Buck. You guys understand, it doesn't matter what the business is. We're talking about insurance brokerage, but you have a couple levers. You have increase the number of clients. That's 1. Increase the value of those clients is 2. I'd rather do 1 efficiently with help from these guys, target who your really best ideal customer is, go find more of those efficiently, and then look at the bottom part of your business and say, what can I offload, get rid of, so I can become more efficient, higher revenue per employee. And all of a sudden now you start looking at the agency and you're more profitable, your top line has blown up, and you have a plan working with these guys on how to scale it.
And the agencies that you see sell.
That's exactly, we're a big aggregator and buyer of agencies. So when we look at businesses, we're looking at EBITDA, which to us is an indicator of how efficiently you can run that business and how profitable you are on a per employee, per head count basis. So we want to look at, do you have concentrations of business in that agency? If I'm looking at a $2 million agency and I see a concentration of 1 client that's $1 million and it's tied to a legacy owner who may be there another 3 years, all of a sudden our calculus starts to change.
Goes down.
But if you can show a diversified business, you have cross-sell opportunity and upside in the agency. We see a succession plan there or a thought out transition plan if you have others who are closer to the end of their career than the beginning. And you have a built-in team like the Cardone Ventures team that can help you scale, grow, and find the right people. That's really attractive. So
and just so you guys know, because I love it when my buddies pop by. Is this not a wealth of information? Put yes, put 10X or put yes, put whatever the hell you want, because this is an MBA on business right here. And I just want to tell you guys, when you hear someone talk like this and you're like, wow, where'd this guy come from? And how does he know this? Just ask one question. What's the biggest thing you've ever built? How big is your company right now?
We will crest $1 billion in revenue by the end of 2021.
With almost a 6 billion market cap.
Yeah.
So like this, so you ask yourself, what would it take to hire a guy like this to come work with me? And then you realize, wait a minute, I need to do some really big things to attract somebody like this dude. And you can see, quality of the people I spend my time with I will become more of those people I spend my time around. So I'm very protective, and and he's met almost all of my friends because he was at my wedding, and we've been doing some different business deals together with multi-billion-dollar private equity groups and stuff. But he sees the circle I travel in. It just so happens the owner of his company's in that circle.
And we've done that with each other. We've introduced each other to
and he's brought me in he's here right now to bring me into a couple of great relationships, maybe for GrowthCon. But the point is that when you want to hire high quality, high achieving people, you got to give them a picture. He would not be working where he's working today. Because when he came in, and I know the owner of his company, he's my neighbor down in Mexico. But that owner painted this massive picture, which then allows Sean to say, okay, if I come in here and I grow with the organization, drafting on it, I can become unbelievably wealthy and successful. But if Sean would have come into that job and they're like, Sean, we want you to work 90 hours a week. We want you to travel all the time. We don't want you to have a personal life, and we just want you to grind it out for us. What would you have said?
Would have said no. Now, I love the fact that when I came into my particular opportunity, everything wasn't fully baked. We had a successful platform, but it was just that. It was a platform. When I joined 3 years ago, we were doing 500 billion plus in revenue.
Think about it. They doubled the business.
So doubled the business in that period of time. And what's wonderful about it is we are now pushing into new spaces. A lot of the things,
which is what attracted him, because he wanted to be in an entrepreneurial business that he knew there was a lot of upside, and he could plug himself in to capture some of that upside. Well, how do you get people to want to go to work for you? This is what we're going to talk about in that program. So throw that QR code up, shoot it, get in there. We might even have some special guests join us.
We definitely will.
And I'm going to turn this over to Buck because we have some business to do. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you for joining us again for 10X Owners Live. And Buck, you can take us home.
I'll take you home. By the way, Sean's also single. Put single in the comments if you're single. Put single in the comments. No, seriously though, the perfect hire training. We want to see you there. This is a free program. So honestly, what do you have to lose? There's nothing to lose here. In fact, Brandon has stated the guarantee.
I give it all your money back because it's free.
That's right. The guarantee is you will find the perfect hire in 2022. It's going to happen. So we'd love to see you there. There's links there in the chat. Every Tuesday, we're here to help you because we just want to see you crush it. We are all dedicated to your success. The question is success your duty? Because if it is, this is the right place. And we will see you here again next Tuesday on 10X Owners Live.
Great seeing all of you.
The whole purpose of this show is to engage with business owners and be able to answer questions for people that will give them some insight and perspective on how to grow and scale a business. Not only leadership, but real life examples. This is the golden moment. I would do business with you right now.